Good morning, good morning. Dr. Gary here. We are on the road. We sell dental practices nationwide. We are dental practice brokers. Today's topic is 2 years sequel after dealing with the landlord from hell. I think you'll like this one. So as you know, we're in 28 states. We have 10 employees plus 2 CPA accountants, all to serve you. We're available to you 363 days a year. And we're available 8 a.m. till 9 p.m. We take off Christmas and Easter. Our phone number is 201-663-0935. And our availability to you is not only myself, but we also have the 2 CPA accountants that can assist you at no charge to you. If you need advice, call us. We'll be more than happy to assist you in any way possible. We're always available. We believe that's what separates us from a lot of the other brokers. We're available every day except Christmas and Easter. So please call us. Now, everything you're about to hear is for entertainment purposes. It's our opinions. It is not legal or business advice. I was a dentist for 25 years, and now for the last 13 years, we have been doing the dental practice brokerage. So we have a great team assembled, many long-term employees. Generally, when somebody works for us, they don't quit, which is exciting for me, to have consistency and therefore provide you great, vast amount of knowledge and service. Now, if you're thinking about selling to the DSOs, dental services organizations, as you know, they're going through some big changes. They've gotten a lot more conservative. And we're on the cutting edge, we believe. We deal with them on a daily basis, often weekly basis. So we know who wants what, who's changing, what their criteria are. And there's a lot of changes. 2 DSOs recently had letters of intent, and they could not get funding. That has never happened. Another DSO, their stock went down to 0. But there's other great DSOs that are out there that are very helpful. So we're here to, talk to you about that, etc. Now, if you work with us, often the DSO, we are independent from DSOs, Dental Services Organization, corporate dentistry. We're independent. So we can recommend various, and we have no allegiance to any one DSO. We do not work for them. But often they will pay our commission, so there's no commission to you as a doctor, as a seller. And if you work with us, many times we were able to get legal fees reimbursed upon successful closing. So that has worked out quite well. So anyway, let's get into today's topic. So we're 2 years, I think we're 2 years beyond the landlord from hell. This is one of my worst landlords. I mean, one of the worst. We've had some pretty bad ones. One thing about landlords, and I've talked about this multiple times before, they don't worry or panic or get concerned until the lease is only about 3 months, 2-3 months, until the lease is about to end. Some smart landlords, being that we have a super large vacancy nowadays, maybe they'll wisen up at 6 months to a year sometimes, because there's been like 30% vacancies in some of these cities. But most of them, they don't care. They wait right till the end. Month, 2 months, 3 months, that's when they get concerned. You would think with a dentist, who's a long-term best client, whose success rate is 99.75%, they would wake up a little bit. They don't. So this is certainly a problem. So that's the mentality you're dealing with when you're dealing with landlords. But let's get into it. What happened with our landlord from hell 2 year sequel? And it's unbelievable. This one landlord, she drove us crazy. If you remember, the landlord would not do a lease assignment. 0. Would not write a new lease. 0. That's it. Wouldn't do it. Wouldn't permit it. fought us tooth and nail, and certainly you could take the landlord to court and do all that. That takes you 2 years, costs you several $1,000s. You may not win. But as an older landlord, quite old, stuck in their ways, they said, well, they like the other tenant. They don't want to let go of them. Well, somebody has to retire. So if you won't transfer the lease and you won't write a new lease, you got a problem. And the problem was the bank said, we're not loaning money on this practice to the buyer and the seller if you can't give us a 10-year lease. That's it. We want a 10-year lease, or else we're not loaning the money. So the landlord wouldn't give us the lease. Landlord wouldn't transfer the lease. Wouldn't start a new lease. So we have a problem. And the problem was, and if you recall back, this is 2 years later, what we did was the seller took back the note, the mortgage note, to buy the practice, because the buyer didn't have all that money. I think the buyer maybe put down 20%. We were not advocates of this. We didn't advise this, didn't advocate it, didn't support it, but there was no alternative. No, I wasn't making the decisions. We went through the dental attorneys. Fortunately, we had great dental attorneys. That was fortunately we had that. Okay? Because if we didn't have dental attorneys, nightmare. It would have been a nightmare. We would have never gotten through it. Because the dental attorneys built support for the buyer and the seller. The two dental attorneys knew each other from multiple deals. Why it's important to use dental attorneys. There aren't that many of them. There's like 4 in New Jersey. There's 2 in Manhattan. There's like 2 in Eastern Pennsylvania. There's 2 in Connecticut. There's like 3 of them in Boston, Massachusetts area. That's it. These are players. These are the guys that are doing all the deals. Okay? There's always somebody else that claims they're a dental attorney, but they're not doing 10, 15, 18, 20 deals a year. No, they're not doing it. So that's why it's critical. So what the attorneys did was the seller took back the mortgage. The seller kept the lease under their name. And the buyer became technically a subtenant of the seller. We never had a situation like that, let alone a situation where the seller held the mortgage note. I mean, the only thing positive about that, we don't advise it, we don't advocate it because you're taking some risk. The only positive thing about it is less capital gains. Much less impact on tax-wise, because now the seller has a much lower income and is getting all this money from the practice. Of course, it's going to be a bypass when it comes to the monies coming in for the lease, because it's a subtenant. So it's really not like income to the seller, but whatever. The buyer still gets the tax deduction, but the risk, the lease was under the seller's name, not advocated, not suggested, not supported. That's a risk. But the seller was informed. So the practice was financed by the seller, and the lease went under the name of the seller, maintained under the seller. The buyer became subtenant. But the attorneys worked it out through certain indemnifications and so forth. And we're 2 years, and the young seller is just doing great. Has gone up at least, I think, 35-40% now. That is the new buyer. They're doing quite well. Really excited. I mean, in the end, it was the support of the broker, myself, the 2 attorneys, and the seller turned to me, should I take the chance? I said, as you know, I base my recommendations on what the attorneys say. The attorneys are the ones that will support you and make the decision. They will let you know your liabilities and your risk factor. I said, once your attorneys have given you that risk assessment And then you call me. Excuse me, I need some sunglasses here. It's Memorial Day weekend. I'm at the beach, and we are looking good. I'm off to the flea market. Let's see what great bargains we can get. I love shopping. So anyway, after the buyer and the seller were duly informed of their rights and their liabilities and their risks, the seller turns to me. This is where your independent dental broker comes in. He said, Gary, what do you think? I said, look, based on what the attorney said, and you listen to their risk and so forth, I think it's worth a shot. Because what is our alternative? Landlord from hell, will not assign the lease, will not give a new lease, can't take them to court. It'll take 2 years to go to court, it'll cost you thousands of dollars, and who knows what the results are going to be. So he had confidence in the buyer. Also, don't remember, the success rate of a dentist is 99.75%, as per one of the major banks in USA. So the buyer and seller, well, the seller more so took the risk. He says, all right. But he asked me in the end, what should I do? What do you think? And I had to build the confidence. This is where your broker comes in. This is where our years of experience. I was a dentist for 25 years. I'm doing this for 13 years. And I did feel comfortable and confident that we could make this thing happen. And it's happened. 2 years sequel, all is well. Everybody's happy. Buyer happy. Seller happy. And it's working out well. So some things do have a happy ending. This one certainly did. I'm really excited for the buyer. And I kind of relive my life with some of these guys, the buyers and sellers. It's just great. I love opportunities and deals. This is why we're never going to retire. Having fun every day. We're at the flea market. We're going bike riding later. Heading to the beach. Going to visit my buddy's building a new house down at the beach. He's just about finished. And I'm excited to see that. All right, we're looking good. Have a good time out there. Enjoy yourself. Have fun every day.